On an unremarkable Tuesday morning in October 1998, the quiet suburb of Fairfield awoke to flashing blue lights outside the pale blue house at 214 Marlow Street. The house belonged to 62-year-old widow Eleanor Vance. She was known for her immaculate lawn, her polite nods to neighbors, and the lemon cookies she left cooling in the kitchen window. When Eleanor didn't show up for Sunday service at her church, something she hadn't missed in 27 years, concern began to spread. 2 days later, her neighbor, Grady, called the police after noticing Eleanor's mail piling up and her back porch light still on in broad daylight. Inside the house, officers found no signs of forced entry. The front door was locked, windows sealed, but Eleanor lay at the bottom of her basement stairs. At first glance, it appeared to be a tragic accident, a misstep on steep wooden stairs, but something felt wrong. The first crack in the story came from the coroner's report. Eleanor had bruising on her wrists, not from a fall and from restraint. Detectives dug deeper. There were no signs of robbery. Jewelry untouched, cash still inside her purse. But in the kitchen trash, investigators found something peculiar: torn up envelopes from a local credit union. The name on the documents wasn't Eleanor's, it was Thomas Grady's. Grady, 54, had been Eleanor's neighbor for nearly a decade. Friendly, helpful, recently divorced. Quiet, too quiet as it turned out. Detectives discovered Grady had been drowning in debt, gambling losses that had spiraled out of control. 3 months before Eleanor's death, she had co-signed a small loan for him after he claimed he needed help covering medical bills. But Eleanor had learned the truth. She confronted him days before she died. Bank records showed she'd scheduled an appointment to remove her name from the loan. On the night she died, Grady had told police he was home watching television. But phone records placed him near Eleanor's landline at 9:42 p.m., the estimated time of death. Under questioning, his calm demeanor began to fracture. Detectives theorized that Grady had gone to Eleanor's house to plead with her, not to withdraw from the loan. Perhaps he hoped to convince her to give him more time. Instead, the argument escalated. There were no signs of forced entry because Eleanor trusted him. She let him in. The bruises on her wrists suggested he grabbed her during the confrontation. In the struggle near the basement stairs, he pushed her, or she fell trying to pull away. The medical examiner later testified that the angle of the neck fracture was inconsistent with a simple fall. Grady staged the scene, locked the door behind him, and returned home to wait. But quiet neighborhoods remember. A teenage girl down the street reported hearing raised voices that night. Another neighbor saw Grady's porch light flick on just before 10 p.m., later than usual. Faced with mounting evidence, Thomas Grady confessed 11 days after Eleanor's body was found. "I didn't mean to kill her," he said. "I just needed more time." In 2000, he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years to life. The pale blue house on Marlow Street was sold the following spring. The new owners repainted it white. But longtime residents still say that every October, when the air turns sharp and the leaves gather along the sidewalk, they think about Eleanor Vance and how sometimes the most dangerous people aren't strangers. They're the ones who borrow sugar.